Alright guys, this is the last installment on stuff I'm doing with the leftover chicken I cooked about 3 or 4 days ago. Tonight, kind of the afternoon, kind of didn't want to cook something real heavy, didn't want to go out and buy something. So I'm going to reach in the refrigerator and pull out a bunch of leftovers, throw something together that's going to be really great, really tasty, have some really low calories to it, and you're going to love it. So let me show you what I did here. I went into the refrigerator, pulled out a couple of really small bell peppers, and I chopped them up. Pulled out, what else we got there? Some leftover green beans, got those. Pulled out some leftover brown rice, got that. Got a little thing of cashews hanging around most of the time. Some chicken broth. Pulled out a little piece of ginger, and also pulled out a quarter onion. Chopped that up, and I put it in the pan right here with some of that chicken broth. So I like to, those take the longest to cook, so I like them soft, so I put them in first. And the other thing I did was I took the leftover chicken that we made a couple of days ago and chopped it up, and it's got the original juice with it there, and I'm waiting to put that in. And I think you can probably guess where we're going tonight. A little Asian style flavor. So letting those onions cook down. So I'm going to add the ingredients in the order in which they take the time to cook. So as we go along, we'll check back in and we'll show you where we're at. As you can see, these onions are kind of cooking down. Not much broth left in the pan, so I might add a little more and keep them cooking. I put some salt and pepper. I'm going to take just a little bit of sesame seed oil because it does not take much to flavor something, I promise. And I'm going to just, whoop, done. Little drip. That's like the equivalent of maybe 3 drops in there. And I'm going to put a little more of this chicken broth. And pour a little bit more of that. Notice how I cooked that down in the same technique where there was some brown residue on the bottom of the pan, and a little more vegetable broth brings it back up. So we'll condense it down, bring it up, condense it down, and it really makes, see, there's some of that brown stuff in the pan right there. We'll pour a little bit of this more chicken broth in there, and it just brings it right up off the bottom of the pan. See, it's not even there anymore. It just cleaned it right up. But now look at the juice I'm starting to get in the bottom of this pan. Sesame flavor, a little salt, pepper. Definitely have garlic in there. I'm not afraid of the pepper or the garlic, as you know, and these onions are going to keep cooking down. Now keep this in mind. I've never made this before, maybe something like it. I just looked in the refrigerator and said, what's left over? What would taste good together? What am I in the mood for? So my onions are looking good. I'm going to reach over here. I'm going to grab my carrots. I'm going to put that in there. Now remember, the rice is pre-cooked. I mean, it's already cooked. It's leftovers. The beans were leftovers. What we got here left to add into our meal. Okay. These bell peppers cook pretty quick, so I'm going to put them in. Carrots are going to take longer. I like my carrots a little crunchy in this kind of thing. So really the thing that needs to cook is the onions and the carrots and the bell peppers. The rest of it just needs to be reheated. That's why we're cooking these first, because they're already cooked. They're leftovers. Like I said, I don't have a recipe for this. I was just throwing it together, and I got to thinking, well, this is going to be an Asian dish. I'm definitely going to have my cashews in there. Well, what about some soy sauce flavor along with the sesame seed? Keep in mind now, sesame oil goes a long way. You'll ruin something real quick with too much sesame oil, so I put about 3 drops. But now I'm going to take some, what's equivalent to what I call soy sauce. It's called liquid aminos. I think it's better for you, but it tastes just the same thing. Made out pretty much about the same. So I'm going to squirt some liquid aminos in the pan, because when I put that brown rice in there, it's going to bring that flavor, those flavors together. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ginger, which is just hanging out in the fridge most of the time, pretty lonely stuff, because you don't get to it very often. I'm going to take my grater and I'm going to grate some of this ginger into this base that I'm making. Here we go. Now check this out. I didn't use much of that ginger, because ginger goes a long way too for my taste. I just like to get little flavors here and there on the palate of that ginger. So we're going to put this away, and we're kind of ready to put this whole thing together now. My next step is to get my bell peppers in the pan, and we're going to take care of that. Alright, so we've got all that taken care of. We're going to mix this up. It's still boiling down again. So now I'm going to ready to put everything else in there. Rice kind of gets a little dry in the fridge once it's there for a day or so. It's brown rice. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that chicken broth. I'm going to pour a pretty good amount in there. And I'm going to let that boil back down. And once that boils down, I'm going to let it not go all the way, but I'm going to add the rice. And then I'm going to, I don't want to end up with soupy rice and try to boil the water off because the rice is already cooked. I don't want the rice to turn into mush. So this is kind of a balancing act. One thing that's real important is to taste this as you go. And I just tasted the broth in here. And oh my goodness. Yeah, you're going to wish you were here in just a little bit. It's perfect. All right, I think we're just about time to throw this big old wad of rice in here. Here we go. So, no more rice. I'm going to mix this up. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the green beans. Toss those into there. All leftovers. And then I'm going to get a handful of, these are raw cashews. I like to crush them up a little bit. Alright, a little cashew flavor. And lastly, I'm going to put my chicken in. You're thinking, man, Phil, you cook that chicken, you're going to put that into something with an Asian flair to it. And remember, in one of the other videos I said I cook this chicken only with salt, pepper, and garlic all the time because it leaves a lot of flexibility for what I want to do later in the week. I can do stuff like this. Now, if I cook this with lemon pepper to begin with, which is not bad if you're going to eat the whole thing, but kind of limit you on what you're going to do with your leftovers at that point. With the sesame seeds, just a little bit. Okay? Because now what I'm going to do, the only thing I need to do with this is turn the heat down on it, down to a very low simmer. Okay? I'm going to put the lid on it and just let it heat up. Because it's not cooking. Everything else in this pan is already cooked. It just came out of the fridge, so it was kind of cold. So now all I got to do is put the lid on it. Here comes the lid. So let's take off the lid. Ooh, does that look good? Everything's nice and hot. I'm going to now just turn off the heat. We got those cashews and that nice chicken breath chicken breath. Chicken breath don't smell this good. Not that I've smelled chicken breath, but I'm sure it doesn't. I don't know what they're pecking around in. All right. It smells good. We got cashews and the chicken broth with the amino acids, which are basically the soy sauce, a little bit of sesame seed flavor, a little bit of ginger. That chicken. Oh my goodness. Get some more brown rice, carrots, those cooked onions that were cooked down. And I'm just going to load up the bowl here. It's got all those flavors, all those colors. Look how much there is in this big bowl here. And the other thing, let's check this out. Come over here. I've had the clock running since we started. Looks like that whole cook time was about 21 minutes. This would feed a family of 4 at least. And I'm estimating that what's in the bowl that you see right here, that's probably around, I don't know, 600 calories. And half of that is the rice. So it's a good carb dinner, but it's brown rice, so it's good and healthy for you. So here we are, coming in, lazy Saturday afternoon. Throw some leftovers together, hang out in the kitchen, have a good time. Right, Debbie?
Right. P.F. Chang's has nothing on you, honey.
I started this whole thing because my niece Melissa wanted some recipes. So I thought we'd put them on the video and get them out there. I hope you guys are enjoying this. If you want some more, let me know. I love cooking, just kind of a homebody that way. I'll just show you what I do. We have a lot of good eats here, a lot of good food and a lot of good time. Take care.